Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Let's start with a prayer together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, great gurus, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lairima Shaya, Swami Sri Yukteswarji, beloved Master Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow at thy feet. Beloved Lord, we ask thy blessings on our lives as we offer them ever more perfectly into thy light. Om Shanti Shanti. We'll have a song and then a video clip of Swamiji that I think you'll really enjoy. Welcome to everyone again.
Long I've called you, my Lord, long I've called you. Many years I have longed for your sight. Bathe the darkness with tears of devotion. Offered candles in prayer to your light. How much longer, friend, must I cry your name? I am yours, ever yours. Will you come? Long I've called you, my Lord, long I've called you. Many years I have longed for your sight. Bathe the darkness with tears of devotion. Offered candles in prayer to your light. How much longer, friend, must I cry your name? I am yours, ever yours. Will you come?
You see, if you want a cup of tea, then turn the cup upside down, right side up. Don't turn it upside down, because you can't receive it unless the cup is ready to receive. The heart has to be opened before God can give you his blessings. You can't just demand that he give you his blessings. You also have to open yourself to those blessings. Now, the way of affirmation is very important, but you have to always try to attune yourself to the Guru. When I do Kriya, I feel him doing Kriya through me. When I lecture, I feel him talking through me. It's a real experience. It's not just a nice little sentimental thought. I have found that again and again, if I don't know the answer to something and I turn to him, suddenly I know it. I wrote a book which is pretty well known called Your Sun Sign as a Spiritual Guide. I had studied astrology for a year because I had read in different places that if you really want to understand yoga, then you should understand astrology. So I thought, well, let me find out what they're talking about. And I studied it for a year, and then I felt the inspiration to write a book on the subject, which is perhaps a bit cheeky, I don't know. But anyway, people like it, and it's been called the best book of its type. I don't know. But I can say this, that there were 2 or 3 times when I thought, well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to give up this book because I just don't know the answer. And then I would turn to my guru again and ask him, and all of a sudden I knew. Later, I read in different books about ancient traditions that had been a tradition in the Chaldean times or ancient times in India or Egypt, something. But in each case, my intuition was verified. I've seen that happen again and again, and I don't say it to boast, far from it. I say it to help you to understand that the less you think you are doing it and open your mind, realizing that these masters have a job to get inside you. As my guru said, that's my job, to get inside you and to help your mind to change. Nobody can ever get there. Many people say, well, I don't need a guru. That's because they think they have to listen to somebody outwardly. But if you listen inwardly, you will find that I don't know how to describe it. It's from inside. You feel more and more free. You feel more and more joyful. And I remember one time, because I was worried about this intellectual pride that I had to work on, but it's not so easy to overcome even one quality. And I remember one time just absolutely with all my willpower, just giving it to God like that. Suddenly I felt so free. I left that meditation and I saw my guru standing up. It was in Los Angeles. He was looking out over the city. And I knelt for his blessing and touched his feet. And he just touched me on the head. He said, very good. He knew what I was going through. He understood. But it was his power that enabled me to do it. We can't do it by ourselves. Don't give. I mean, when you see the clouds at sunset, they're all so beautiful, aren't they? But when the sun sets, they're all gray and not very attractive. So it's the sun that makes the clouds beautiful. It's the blessings of God and Guru in your heart that can give you any magnetism.
Good morning again, friends. I'd like to start this topic drawing on the power of the Guru. Just a brief reading from Swamiji. One had only to sit in Master's presence for a few minutes to feel the weight of problems and worries lift mysteriously, to be replaced by a deep peace. Whenever I meditated with him, I felt as if a strong magnet was drawing my consciousness to the Christ center between the eyebrows. Sometimes he would merely look at me, and a strange power entered my heart, thrilling me with divine love. This is a very important topic because you think of, how do people really change? A lot of people say that maybe, I don't know, a psychic may change them, or a healer, or even doing techniques. Really, how do you change? Do you change just through that? You change just through techniques? Do you change by thinking or analyzing or talking about it? No, you really don't. I mean, it's not a permanent change. Permanent change, deep change, pulling up from the roots. Really, when you think about it, it comes from divine grace. We can do our part. And that's also I want to talk about today, but let's not fool ourselves and think some other book by itself, or going to a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a psychic, so many people say this, but are you really deeply changed is the question. Typically not, because what changes us is God's power, God's grace. As Master said, I killed Yogananda long ago. No one dwells in this temple now but God, meaning God's power through him changed and changes the disciples. There was a beautiful story, Swamiji, about around the life of Jesus, a true story of an event. Swamiji talked about this at different times, and I've been thinking about it myself. He said that Jesus was in the midst of thousands of people. And at one point, people were all around him, jostling him. And at a certain point, he says, someone touched me. And Swamiji said, well, everybody was touching him. Why would he say, someone touched me? It's such a beautiful thought, because he said there was one person who really, with devotion and sincerity and love, had touched him. And I think that's such an important thing to remember, because in any blessing we get, anytime we touch someone's feet or we take their blessing, what are we really doing? Is it deeply sincere? Is it just from, this is what you have to do? When you take a blessing into yourself, when you come for purification or purification ceremony or the touch of light or a satsang blessing or discipleship or kriya blessing, there's something happening there. There's the transferal of the guru's power. But it's not passive on our parts. Oh yeah, I went there, I got the blessing. There has to be an energy from you to open yourself, to be receptive, to be magnetic, to really draw that blessing. And when you think of the beautiful stories and autobiography, there's so many, all about the guru's power flowing into the disciple. And before that, even, I was thinking when Swamiji, when Kriyanandaji, when he went to Master and he bowed down when he first met him, he said Master touched him at the heart. He blessed him, not just touched him, he blessed him. And his arm vibrated over his heart, his finger touching Swamiji for, he said, at least 2 minutes. Master was pouring his power into Swamiji, the very first meeting. And the interesting, not just interesting, the amazing fact is that Swamiji said he didn't really feel anything, but from that moment on, he said, I changed. I changed in every way because of God's grace through the Guru. And if you think of so many wonderful stories, I was thinking of Lahiri Mahashaya with Swami Sri Teswarji, he wasn't that name at that time, he was young, but he was having difficulty with his health. And so many people do, but they don't really call on God in the right way, or focus, or with magnetism, or a deep desire. Anyway, Swami, we'll say for now, Swami Sri Teswarji came. He said, I've been ailing, and he came to his guru, and I don't know, why, and I'm losing weight. And anyway, he went on, and the guru said, yes, I see you've made yourself like this. And that went on a couple of times. He went back, rejuvenated, he came back, and weak, and he went back and came back. You can read the story yourself. But finally, Yukteswar says, well, you mean if I think I'm well, I'll be well right now and I'll gain my weight back? And he says, yes, of course. And in this very moment, what an amazing story. And at that moment, he felt strength coming into him. Not only strength, he felt weight coming into him. And the story goes that he gained 50 pounds in that day. Now, that's an incredible story, and surely it was true. I mean, and other stories, you think of Lahiri Mahashaya raising Rama from the dead. He was dead, and he brought him back to life. And he said, told Swami Sri Teswarji, Yukteswar at that point, he says, I told you twice he would be well, but you failed to believe me. And I think that's really the point. We fail to believe. And But the power is there, the grace is there, but where is the disciple? That is such an important part. Swamiji had a beautiful phrase, it has a beautiful phrase, cooperation with grace. That, yes, Master's power is there. Yes, he's begging to help you. Yes, all the gurus are there. Yes, they want to help you. But you have to cooperate with that grace. You have to, as it says in the beautiful purification ceremony that we do, the Master says, open your heart to me and I will enter and take charge of your life. And that's active, it's dynamic, it's deeply desirous of wanting to do that. And Master said too, to those who think me near. Think is a verb. Those who want, those who think me near, I will be near. So those who really call, specifically call, I'll go into that in a moment, but I think we have to be much more magnetic in the call, much more focused, much more concentrated, much more sincere, much more desirous of really drawing, pulling, if you will, the Guru's grace into us. And Master told Rajarsi Janakananda, don't forget where your power is coming from. And Rajarsi said, I won't forget, Master. I know it's coming from you. And also Swamiji thought he had changed himself in a particular way. Master told him, you need to make this change. And Swamiji felt, okay, I made the change. I did it myself. And he heard some of the monks say, Master said, look how I changed Walter. We just can't forget that. There's the power of God wanting to flow through you. There's an amazing story of Master with a friend of his, had a friend in the hospital, and he asked Master if he would help the man to get well. And because it was God's grace, and Master said he never did anything unless God told him to do it. So he felt that. And what happened in the hospital, even the nurse attested to it, that suddenly there was a sound of an explosion in that room where the man was. And there was a light that appeared. And the man sat up and he was healed. We have to know there's so much, there's God's power, not so much as the power of the universe flowing through the gurus. So how do we access that? Well, you can access it on all levels. The first is physically. How do we access the power of God through the guru? Well, that power comes through having more energy, through energization exercises. That power comes through yoga practices. That power comes through Mahamudra. It comes through the superconscious living exercises. It comes through pranayama. As you're doing all of that, but don't just do it haphazardly. Do it feeling the strength, God's strength, Master's power is coming into me. And then take that power as you're in a difficult situation, you're in a not such a good environment. You're keeping your aura strong, knowing that strength is around you. You're on a flight. I travel all the time. You're on an airplane. You're in an airport. Feel that strength, the power of the guru, the physical strength coming into you and staying with you in every circumstance that you have. And then mentally, feel that strength when call on the guru when you have difficult situation at work or at home or trying to resolve something in your life and relationships or whatever it might be. Just don't do it by yourself. Say, Master, help me to have a clear mind. Help, and use the techniques. Use Hong Sa to get clarity and focus and concentration. Use the Om technique to feel that God's power. Also, that's for physical strength, to feel God's power within you and all around you, and ask, put your forehead to Master's forehead. Give me your ideas, your thoughts, your inspiration. I want to know, what would you do in this situation? Is this the right thing? What is the solution? What are the ideas? What is the inspiration? You see how beautiful that is? And then there's a transferal from the guru to the disciple of the right things to do, how to do them. Give me the right attitudes. Give me the right qualities. Let Master pour himself into you. Otherwise, I remember Swamiji would tell us about one woman who would say, I don't feel you, Master, as much as the others. And he said, if you shut the door, how can I come in? People shut the door. And they're reading this on something as somebody else, looking at somebody else's videos, going to other lectures, doing everything. But the power of the guru, it's just waiting to come into you. So physically, we've talked about, mentally, we've talked about, my God, emotionally, calm down. Feel that Master's, his calmness and peace. When you feel nervous, restless, I see Guru Bhais just stressed out to the max, restless and showing that, and not being unclear, not knowing what to do, uncentered. Calm down with the Guru's power and feel. Swamiji would have us meditate on Master, meditate on his eyes, meditate on his whole face. We'd all be meditating together. Visualize the Guru. Open your eyes. Look at the altar. Feel him. Feel. You can feel his calmness, his peace just flowing into you. Master, I don't want to be nervous. I don't want to be upset. I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to have fear. I don't want to have emotions. I don't want to have anger. I don't want it. And feel his calmness. Put yourself in alignment with that power of the Guru. And then spiritually, feel the contact. Master was one with God. All of our gurus, contact. In meditation, make contact, like Dr. Lewis, with Master putting his forehead against Dr. Lewis's forehead. His light of the spiritual eye just burst in his forehead. And the seventh chakra opened up with the lights. He said there were bubbling lights there. People sit and meditate and fall asleep. Let the mind go crazy. Look at their watch, look at the phone, go over the messages. This is not meditation. Just feel the Guru's joy. What a beautiful thought. Master, give me your joy. Let me feel what you feel. Give me your love. Give me your light. Give me the Om. Give me your contact with God. If you can meditate like that, that's true meditation. Because what are you getting if you're not getting it from the Guru? Surely you can try on your own, but Master's, he's the connecting link between us and God. And I hear people say, no, I just go on my own. They don't look like they're doing well. You need that contact. And I'll end with my own story, that at a particular time, I was going through a deep trial. Everybody does. And the reason we're talking about this is you can lift up out of that, but you have to really connect, make contact, magnetize yourself through the contact and the link with God through the Guru. And not just the Guru, the Gurus. Anyone who calls to Babaji receives an instantaneous blessing. It says in autobiography. Lahiri Mahashaya said, I'm with all those who practice Kriya. That means you've got to really want him to be there. Jesus, where two or more are gathered, there am I. You and Master and Christ. But you have to really want it and not be passive, to deeply call. And so there I was, and not getting out of it. I read everything. I said, Swamiji, I'm reading, I'm affirming, I'm teaching, I'm doing the practices, I'm doing more Kriya, I'm doing more energization. I tried everything I could, but I still wasn't lifting up out of that delusion. And I talked with him very briefly, and he said, don't worry about it. Meaning, continue what you're doing. And then that night I went home, I went to bed, and the next morning, it never happened before, it didn't happen after, but I was changed. And that cloud had gone. And I went to Swamiji. I said, Swamiji is not there anymore. I don't know what happened. And he never took it to himself. He just said, that's good. And I knew it was God's power that changed me. And I went to Swamiji. I said, thank you so much. And his words at different times, one time specifically, I remember, he looked at me deeply. He says, Dhyana, Master's helping. I think we just have to know. And I thought, really? He's helping me? Why wouldn't he help you? He's your guru. So I say, end with those words. If you want, it'll be the same for you, physically, mentally, emotionally, in every way, spiritually. Masters helping us. God bless you. I'll ask Nitendra to join on screen now. And yeah, I'll read something at the very end. So please go ahead, Nitendra.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. We have a couple of questions. The first one is, since I have read and heard mostly about Master, so I naturally call on to him. Now, is that okay, or should I call on to all our gurus?
Yeah, I was just answering that. You know, it's so wonderful how it's interesting, because some people go just to Master, and that's okay too, but there's a whole line of gurus. Why not call on all of them at different times? Swamiji would have us, he said, you can take like 1 week and just think of Babaji helping you. Take the next week, it's Lahiri Mahashaya who's with you. Take the next week, it's Jesus Christ. Next week, it's Krishna. The next week is Swami Sri Yukteswar. Most people don't want to take him because he's disciplinarian, but he'll really help you. So that he said to think of all of our gurus. And I see people at different times, they're just going just to Master. And I mean, it's nice. But if you include all the gurus, it's just very powerful. I mean, why are they on the altar? He could have just said, just put my picture. No? But he said, no, this is a whole line of gurus, a lineage, and Master's a part of that. So take the power from all of them.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. One last question. At times, I do not have any visions of any of our gurus. So would that mean that they are not with me?
Isn't that interesting that Swamiji said when Master touched him, he didn't feel anything. And Master's arm was vibrating over his heart. He was saying he didn't feel any inner, like some people say, you know, someone taps you on the head with a peacock feather or something, or maybe hits you on the head or whatever, and you go into some deep state. That's not, I mean, I've never felt anything like that. It's so subtle. But people aren't subtle. You see what I'm saying? So maybe you have had something happen and you didn't remember. Maybe it was in your childhood. Maybe it was in your youth. Maybe, I remember once I had a couple of dreams of Master, and they were so blissful, but it wasn't like every night I dream of Master. It was like, those are priceless. But I remember once I was just waking up, from sleep at night, and I saw a pair of eyes just out of the darkness. And I really woke up then, and I knew those eyes, but I didn't know whose they were. So how do you know everything? That's the other thing. I just went, I know you, but I didn't know who it was. I think things do happen, but you don't notice, or you don't know what's going on. Or Master said the reason people don't see light or hear sounds is they're too busy looking at the outer lights and sounds. So you have to turn your consciousness inside. But the fact that you don't see any vision, so what? Do you feel love in your heart for God? Do you feel more love than you felt a year ago, 5 years ago, or 10 years ago? Has your life changed? Here's another one. Have your attitudes changed? Are there more qualities of devotion and love in your life? Has your face changed? I saw somebody showed me some pictures from a devotee friend from, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. And I said, you look older then than you do now. You don't look spiritually charged. Look at your eyes, look at your face. You don't look good. It's not how old you are, it's what you've done with your life. And it shows on your face, it shows in your smile or your not smile, or it shows in your eyes, it shows in your spine. Yeah, it's your posture, it shows. You can't hide from yourself. And so look more at the things that are concrete. And in time, who's going to bring God to you? Who's going to lift up the Kundalini? Who's going to show you who? Not you, the Guru. Let him do his job. Obviously, you're not ready. If you were, that would happen. And sometimes it does happen. And people go off the path because they weren't quite ready for an experience like that. So I think my mantra is this to Master: what you want, I want. I just leave it at that, and then, whatever comes, okay, he wanted it. It's not like, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. That's just a beggar. Why be a beggar when you're sitting in a golden palace with gold all around you and diamonds and jewels and emeralds? You're sitting there and you're going to give me, give me, give me, give me. You don't need to beg. He's given you everything. You just have to open yourself to receive it. Wow. That in itself, that just brings so much joy. And as you open up more and more and more and more, you receive so much more. Work on yourself and you'll see he was always there. That's what I found. Master was always there. We just have to be there ourselves. God bless you. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you, Nathan.
Oh.